So it's been about 12 months now since my original review of the Tonex pedal from a live gigging guitarist perspective. That video has become my most viewed and I'll put a link to it down below, but it seemed a really good time to check in and ask ourselves the question, can it tour? Let's get into it. So on that original video, despite there being several warnings that this was talking only, no playing, I still got many comments moaning that there was talking only and no playing. So once again, warning, this is talking only. So after 12 months of touring with this thing up and down the country as my main and only live rig, can it tour? Absolutely, yes it can. And let's get into a few reasons why. Number one, sound quality. I touched on it on the original video, but when I first got this thing, I very quickly found sounds that I loved. Now that's quite rare with this kind of thing. Usually you have to do, a lot of tone swapping, trying out different rigs. But I was very fortunate to find sounds that I loved. And actually one of them that I use live to this day is actually a stock sound. Now, normally with this kind of thing, the stock sounds are throwaway. Usually you delete them and you buy decent sounds. So I was very impressed with some of the stock sounds. Some are garbage, just like all of these things, but I'm using one live to this day. I've gotten some absolutely incredible feedback from people in the crowd, from sound engineers, about the quality of the tones. It sounds the same every night. There's no tubes or valves to replace. No issues with dirty power. And as in the original video, I'm still just running from here, straight to front of house, no cab, and front of house comes back to me in my in-ears. And that's done me well, even in smaller venues as well. Number two is build quality. Again, I touched on it in the original video, but 12 months later, still absolutely solid. Built like a tank. The knobs are all absolutely faultless. They're really high quality. Switches are high quality. Now I switch tones a lot during a set because it's fast. It's going from clean to dirty, clean to dirty. And these switches have held up. Nothing's come loose. It's never failed on me once. Zero mechanical failures on it. Now again, you have to remember the price point on this thing is ridiculous considering the build quality. And if you're a touring guitarist, the main thing you need is high quality, reliable equipment. If you're stuck in the middle of absolutely nowhere and your amp sim or even your amp dies, that would be an absolute disaster. So you need something that's gonna be super reliable and not break on you. The nature of the music and the venues that I play in the band I'm in mean this thing is getting absolutely punished by people moshing around, beer, sweat, condensation, and it just hasn't even broken a sweat. Fantastic quality, can't fault it. I never have to worry about a vulnerable screen or things like that because it's all just very well protected. Number three, again, is portability. Now, as guitarists, we all go through phases of wanting the biggest, best gear, massive pedal boards, huge amps, and then we always come kind of full circle back when we start having to lug these things up flights of stairs. We start coming circling back to wanting smaller and lighter equipment. Now, as I show you in the original video, this is on one pedal board with just this and a Shure wireless system, and it fits perfectly into a Peli 1510, which is an industry standard touring case. It's on wheels, it has a pull-out handle, and that is my rig. That is what I turn up with. I can fit all my other things underneath the pedal board, strings, cables, spares, whatever. It all packs down into one single Peli case, which is incredible. So as the purist is struggling up that staircase with his 4x12 and his extremely heavy 100-watt amp, I just breeze past him with one little case, plug in and go. Now obviously I still love amps. Amps are fantastic, but this video is about the perspective of a touring guitarist, and usually unless you're at a really high level where you can have techs and vans and roadies, you don't really want to be lugging 412s and massive 100-watt hets with you every single night. So having something really small that packs into one case is worth its weight in gold. And my back is going to thank me later in life for sure. So although this video is from a live perspective, I do need to make a special mention to the software of the Tonex, which has, since making the original video, has got so much better. They now have an editor which is very reminiscent of Rig Manager by Kemba, which is a good thing because that's one of the best. You can actually plug this thing in and edit the tones on the fly and very easily and quickly just save them back to this. It's very quick and easy now, whereas before it was really clunky. It was kind of off-putting. But kudos to IK Multimedia for making improvements all the time to that. It's still getting better to this day, but now You're safe in the knowledge that you can make quick edits via a computer. Now, have there been any negatives? Of course. No product is perfect, but the ones with this are very, very minor. I touched on it on the original video, but the lack of a DI is annoying. It's not a showstopper, but it is annoying. As I said in that video, any venue or sound engineer worth their salt should have a DI box that they can provide you. But I still find that some of them don't have the right jack leads or connections. So my advice is always to take your own little patch lead that you can go into their DI box with. Or for absolute peace of mind, have your own DI box permanently on your pedal board. Push came to shove, if you're not a million miles away from the front desk, you can run a jack lead to this. It's not ideal, it's not the preferred method, but it does work and has worked for me. Now wait, hold up. Around 10, 11 months into the 12 months of use of this, I'll be honest, I nearly did quit and go to another product. And here's why. So at a show, I had a sound engineer ask me to change the volumes between two patches. Now the problem was all these other shows leading up to it, I hadn't been asked this. And as a result of this, I'd forgotten how to make the changes on the unit itself. I don't know if it was this sound engineer particularly picky, or maybe they were the only ones that noticed it and said something and they were the good one. But you need to be able to adjust this thing on the fly. You can adjust it on the fly perfectly well, but the lesson to take from it was, because I'd left it set and forget for so long, didn't need to change anything, I'd actually completely forgotten how to do that on here. Now what happened was I made an absolute mess of it and I couldn't get it to work properly for the entire set from that point. And as I'm a vocalist as well, I had this in the back of my mind, couldn't get out of my head. I knew that it wasn't working right and didn't sound good for the crowd, which is really important. And even as a seasoned pro, it got into my head and I couldn't switch off from it. So it affected my performance, but entirely my fault. It's not really negative with the product. It's more of a warning to you that if you're using this thing live, just every now and again, just familiarize yourself with the controls on the unit. You can make all the changes on here. Now with the improvements of the editing software, you could actually also hook up your computer to it on the stage if you have a laptop with you and do it a lot faster. Because on the software you can see all the settings on one screen rather than having to flick through different menus and stuff. So that just comes back to that special mention about the software and how much it's improved, because if I had this problem now, I would be able to just quickly hook my laptop in, fix it in 10 seconds, and there wouldn't be any problem. So use my failure as a lesson not to do the same thing yourself. Always familiarize yourself with your equipment, even if it hasn't changed for 9-10 months at a time. Now, one more point. In the original video, I expressed concern about the slight delay when switching profiles. And thanks to you lovely people in the comments, I actually then learned that you could change your setting inside this, because what's happening is the profile is switching on depress of the switch, not press. But you can actually go into here and you can set it to change on press. So now I have instantaneous tone switching, no delay whatsoever. The one caveat to that is you then cannot use these to bank up and down. So if you're a player that's using all these banks, you would then need to have an external switch just for banking, which is not a massive problem. You can get tiny little switches that do it for very cheap. But thanks so much to the amazing people in the comments that pointed out that you could change that, because that really made it so much easier to use for me. I had kind of gotten used to doing it on depress, but now it's absolutely instantaneous, which in the music genre that I'm in is so vital. So after 12 months of using it as my main and only rig up and down the country, in the smallest, grossest venues up to the most grandest, can it tour? You bet it can. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.